of Babe Ruth baseball cards,
Ugh.
where the general analysis is that Babe may have contributed to the Yankees.
Wow, good
Maybe.
analysis. May have.
Maybe he
appears to have.
Appears to have. It's an all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst Matt Moscardi. Whoa!
You know, we've been doing this a long time.
Oh my God!
Do we get a break ever?
Next week,
Is that it? That's
Yeah.
our only break?
on today's "Where the Hell is Jay Hogue?" called
Oh, no.
June 17th, 2025, The Good Game. Yeah, The Good Game.
I do like the good game.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFloatAnalytics.com.
Yes.
Really. The only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free.
I know the free is in there, but it's also the only that matters, right? Like, there are no.
I don't care about the free part.
I mean, free is free. It would be better if it was not free,
I got a secret login, so I don't care.
but it's the only is really clutch.
Yeah.
So, is there anything good? Like, we're gonna play the
Boy,
good
what
game.
this was a struggle, especially like just the last weekend of new. There's like new wars forming. There's like immigrants being chased down on the street. There's like military parades, and it's tough. It's
It's
tough
a weird
to find.
time to exist in the
Yeah.
world right now. I don't know what's going on.
So
Well-
it was tough, but I broke it down into sections for you, maybe to have a little bit of fun. First section is some traditional headlines. This is where I find headlines that I think maybe are good in the old-fashioned ESG sense, and I have Matt, the arbiter of truth, weigh in on a scale from 1 to 10 to tell us if they actually are good or not. And then I have a rate the new woke DEI hire. So there's 3 women
Oh.
that have been appointed to new roles, and I wanted Matt to weigh in on those hires.
Just 3, huh? Like,
Just 3.
we have a whole section devoted to 3 people getting hired.
Then I have a rate how good the headline is speed round. So we're just focusing on the headline itself. And then finally, something that kind of overlaps our business here at Free Flow Analytics. It's a story
Ooh,
that
A business
may or
pitch.
may not be good for the future of our company.
Ooh, I like this. All right, let's get right
lot.
into
It's a
it.
mouthful. Let's get to it. Come
Let's do it.
This is a good one. It's a good old-fashioned headline to start the day. Kraft Heinz to remove artificial dyes from U.S. products by end of 2027.
Wow.
Which
All right.
which proves that you can get something done if you actually want to get
I
it
was
done, right?
confused. I didn't know that was possible. I thought they had to
Yeah.
wait until 2050 to do a thing that's different from. Look, I'm not an RFK Jr. fan. In fact,
Who is?
someone
His
somewhere
wife.
is.
I know his wife.
His
His own family. The Kennedy family is not a fan.
They were not a fan of him. But I was just talking to a doctor the other day who said she had a patient ask her about the COVID vaccine for this coming fall, like when they should go in.
Yeah, I'm getting
And she
that one,
said,
yeah.
"We are getting no information, none
Oh.
information about
'Cause it-
any vaccines now."
Because there's a new variant that's being reported on as we speak.
There's a new variant. It's going around. Everyone's going to get sick this summer. It'll be super. And there's no information. There's no vaccines. In fact, I'm sure the manufacturers are probably going to dial back because now they're loss leaders. There's no subsidies for them, whatever. It's going to
All right,
be a
you're off
nightmare.
You're
But-
off on a tangent here. Let's
but
not
I
talk about
like-
vaccines. Yeah,
well,
you do
I'm just
like
saying,
this.
this is all the caveat to the fact that we didn't need artificial dyes anyway. Like they
No.
were, this
Although-
is an RFK that I can get behind.
Okay,
I'm
but
okay
before-
with this.
But before you rate the headline, look at the main products that this is going to affect at Kraft Heinz. I think this is 10% of all their products. They include brands like Crystal Light, Kool-Aid, Jell-O. I mean, who needs to be eating that stuff in the first place? Like what? Like, aren't we
Look.
focusing on the wrong things here?
Well, you can. What are you going to ban Cool Whip? Come on.
I mean,
Or-
why
or-
not?
Or Crystal
Why not?
Light?
I mean, you know how easy it is to make actual whipped cream, and it's so delicious. It's ridiculously delicious.
Yeah. Well, it's harder to make Crystal Light. I don't even know what that is.
I mean, you
right?
just put
Like,
air. You put air into cream. That's what you're doing. You're putting air into cream. We need
What
Kraft
dye
Heinz.
was in Cool Whip exactly? What was there? Did you say Cool Whip?
I didn't
was one
say
of the
Cool Whip. I
things?
said Kool Aid.
Oh, Kool Aid.
The horrible
There's nothing
sugary
in
drink.
that. That's
the horrible.
nothing.
It's sugar. It's sugar and a little bit of water.
It's
a
not
eye
even
drop
real
of water.
sugar. It's like corn sugar,
Disgusting.
right?
But
Like,
now it's not red, Matt. So
No.
drink away.
now it's gonna be weirdly whatever color is
Stupid
normal.
Kraft Heinz. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
But I'm for this. I can
All
give
right,
this
fine.
a 9 and feel good about
okay.
it.
All right. All right, now we get a little bit more complicated with the next one. SEC drops proposed anti-greenwashing fund disclosure rules.
What?
Yeah, so
Wait,
this
whoa.
I know, right? Yeah, go ahead.
So the anti-greenwashing fund disclosure rules were meant to target like the fake ESG
Yes.
companies who were naming funds like
Yes.
Sustainability Forever Fund.
To address the lack of clear rules communicating the ESG attributes of funds marketing themselves using terms such as green or sustainable. So it's funny that the only reason they're getting rid of this really is because Biden came up with it. But doesn't this seem like something you would want to keep if you hate ESG?
That's what's confusing about it to
Yeah.
me. Because you don't like ESG, but you're going to let people lie about
Fake.
the ESG, be fake ESG.
Yeah, which I guess is the kind of I guess that is the way that this new world operates when
I
you look
guess,
at
yeah.
Trump and Musk, and
It's like a clever, horrible thing to do, right? Like,
I guess any regulation is bad according to the new administration.
I
Is
don't
that
think
the
that's
takeaway?
true because they are willing to clarify guidance that means like that where effectively they're kind of regulating how engagement happens between large shareholders and companies.
Right,
They're-
that's true.
They're willing to do stuff like that. This seems like let's flood allow the market to be flooded with fake funds with no clarity around naming conventions of these funds so that everyone can call their fund green and then we can attack all the green stuff
Well, maybe
later.
see, I like that. Maybe that's a way. It's diminishing the efficacy of the industry in general if you have a bunch of
Right, because there's a bunch of liars out there.
I like it,
and,
yeah.
And this way, it's like no one trusts ESG or green or sustainability because
Yep.
there's so much. I have to give it a 7 for being clever.
Yeah, they're turning on the greenwashing spigot. Is what they're doing. They're turning it up to high.
I mean, good for them. That's clever, horrible.
Which-
I like that.
Well, in the context of Texas, right? Isn't Texas? We were talking about Texas. How aren't they kind of the king of greenwashing in a sense because they put you on a list,
blacklist.
a blacklist if you sell it, but then they're taking in money to sell it. Like they're all
That's the
confused.
opposite of greenwashing. What
What
they're
is it?
doing
Yeah.
is they are straight up green, and they say they're not.
So what
right?
is that?
Like,
What's the term for that?
I don't know. There is no term for that. It's blackwashing.
Yeah,
they're
blackwashing.
like, look how
Black rock
oily we
washing.
are. Look
Yeah.
how oil covered we are and gassy we are. And don't look at the green stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. They are doing the exact opposite.
as they hammer up a new solar panel.
Do you think though they're dropping the anti-greenwashing fund disclosure rules? Do you think next on the docket is anti-woke fund disclosure rules? Like
Oh, boy.
saying stuff like we're an energy fund, we're the American Energy Fund, but they actually don't have any American energy in it, right? Like
Oh, well, that's actually
You know what I mean?
You're teasing a headline about Trump's new phone he's selling later. I have a headline on that one.
ooh,
later.
let's keep going.
Okay. Again, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for the good game this week, trying to find anything that made me feel good. Peru. You ever heard of Peru?
I'll ask Ari.
Yeah, it's a very thin country somewhere. It's very thin. Peru's climate education revolution, a blueprint for global action. So, what the government of Peru is launching a national initiative to embed climate and environmental education into the country's school system, and of course, this is an initiative come by a female leader,
Yeah.
Dina Ercilia Boularte. So, it's right.
First of
something?
all, props on your pronunciation. I have
well, you
no
don't
idea
know
if
that.
that's
You don't know.
correct, but
You
it
don't know.
sounded great. It sounded really
How
convincing.
about that it takes a woman anywhere to do anything good anymore?
They have a Ministry of the Environment, though, right? Like, so
Yeah.
that's I mean, we have the EPA, which is steadily,
Do
which
we?
is now
Do we?
supposed to not actually regulate anything. That's
Yeah,
like
now
they've
when you
been,
go to the EPA website, you end up on like just some stock betting tips, or I don't know, like
I went there and it actually squirt
Vegas
oil
casino
out
or
of my
something. Yeah.
screen. It like spit me with oil.
Yeah.
Um. I mean, I guess this is good. I mean,
Embedding climate into the education and school system.
this is good, right?
Right?
Um,
Right?
I
Yeah.
just feel like
Come on, let's celebrate the world. Come on.
it's really hard to celebrate because it's like a low population country doing a decent thing that will
It's not-
affect zero outcomes, right?
It's not that low. It's about the size of what, like California? It's pretty.
Is it really that big? I would have thought smaller.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's 34 million people, which is actually more than I would have guessed.
That's a
too.
little larger than the New York City metropolitan area.
It's 5 times the size of Denmark, and everyone's always praising Denmark for everything they do. They
That's
fart
true.
gold
I
in
would
Denmark.
not praise Denmark for this either. I don't know. Like, education is absolutely 100% necessary. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
but
let's
it
celebrate
also
this.
also takes 20 years for anything to actually happen after you
Okay.
educate the little kids.
Well,
um,
Yeah,
I can't give it nothing. I'll give it an 8. It's fine.
yeah, it's more than
It's
a
good.
5.
I like it. It's hard to get excited about it like 20 years from now when we're dead.
All right, now here's a confusing one. I don't know if you want to go just by the headline or you want to dig deeper into the details, which would be, shocking and shameful. Warner Brothers Discovery reworked CEO pay, reducing David Zaslav's massive compensation. So let's not
Ooh.
forget that the shareholders themselves, but I think like 70%, it was a very high number,
I
voted
think 70
no
is correct. Yeah.
on his pay package, which I think was like $40
$150
million.
I think it was
a lot.
The all in, the realized pay would have been like 150 million.
So do you
want
want to go right by the headline, or do you want to hear some more information?
So I want to hear more information.
That's a tease, I think. Yeah.
But I do want to rate it quickly just off the headline
Go.
and then maybe edit.
Go.
I do not trust the Warner Brothers Discovery Board to rework CEO
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the headline sounds great, but probably masks some massive problem with the reduced air quotes.
Which you could probably
reconstructed.
guess what the problem is, probably without even me telling you.
I am going to say I have not read a single note here.
But you can guess maybe a back channel way, maybe what they're doing here.
The clever way would to give some sort of like future dated options grant with no performance.
Hit your
metrics
buzzer, hit your dinger, hit your
Uh,
buzzer. You won that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with this is a 4. Distrust it.
Okay, well, first of all, it's a little confusing. We haven't seen. This was released in an 8K, and we'll get a little bit more information when, of course, when we see the proxy. We'll get all the fun tables and charts. But the idea here is that after the company splits, so there's a split. Warner Brothers Discovery is splitting into 2 publicly traded entities. So the first year after the split, his target pay will be $17 million. Compared with his current target, which is $37 million. Of course, if he hits 200% of the targets, which is possible, his pay will be up to $30 million. So we're already getting kind of close to what it was. But here's the problem. The bulk of his future pay will be based on stock options, right?
Yeah.
And this is like, I don't even understand what, like, does the Financial Times understand CEO pay? Because he is due to receive about 24 million stock options
No, that can't be the right. 24 million.
at a exercise price of only $10.16 a share, which means that he only has money. So if the share price doubles, it could be worth as much as $250 million. Now, the reason why they say they're doing this is because they're getting away from paying him based on free cash flow generation, and companies like to pretend that these options are kind of based on company performance because they're tied to stock price, and some of the shares will only vest if certain performance conditions are met, but we know that usually those conditions are pretty attainable. So this is a little shocking, this one. Like But yeah, again, I haven't seen all the full details, but according to the Financial Times, it's 24 million options he's going to get over the next year or so. So
I mean, you props to them because they were probably
it's a
watching the
lot.
price. They had so the vote was like last week, right?
Yeah.
But the close price that they chose was the 12th, which was 5 days ago. It's already trading above the strike price,
And
$10.56.
$10 is so low in general
Having
for
done
any
nothing,
company,
right?
Yeah.
He will make the difference between the current price and that price, whatever that is, right? When he exercises the options, because but the reality here is he's virtually guaranteed that if the market goes up and they just are market price, like just stick with the market, he's virtually guaranteed to get tens of millions more. Like it's a virtual guarantee.
Not only that, Matt, but this is the perfect industry for this kind of chicanery because he can announce a bunch of incredible, initiatives. Over the next 3 to 5 years, we're gonna do this. We're gonna add this streaming thing. We're gonna do. We bought this franchise. We're gonna do all this stuff, and just on that news alone, the share price could skyrocket. And then we learned 5 years later, everything was a dud. Like it all failed, but it won't matter because he can cash out in the short term, right?
I do like that the initial idea so far is to say HBO again.
Right. Well, there you go.
That's it.
Just
He's
saying
going to say
HBO
HBO.
is
It's
gonna
worth
make
a
the share
dollar a
price go
share.
up.
Yeah, it's worth a
Yeah.
dollar a share.
So
Um,
anyway, yeah, that's
I'm
it.
going to stick with my 4. I think
Yeah.
the 4 was the right call. Yeah.
Ugh. All right, let's move on. Maybe that's not a good headline, but the headline made it seem good.
Well, that's the thing. It's misleading.
All right, here's another super nerdy one. Bank unveils green loans plan to unlock trillions for climate finance. That sounds good. An innovative plan to use public money to back renewable energy loans. This is out of the Inter-American Development Bank, which could provide up to $1.3 trillion in annual climate finance to the developing world by 2035. Now, I'm certainly no expert in this area, but the
That's
headline thank you. But the headline suggests this is wonderful, right? I mean, trillions for climate finance, right? I mean, this is one of the best headlines I've seen in a while.
Well,
Help
first
me
of
out
all,
with this one. Help me, please.
First of all, I am a little bit curious why they couldn't say the name of the bank in the headline.
I don't know.
Like,
I've never heard of this bank, the Inter-American Development Bank. I don't even know where they're located. I don't even know which Americas they're talking about. Are they talking about Central America? Are they talking about North America? What's happening? What Inter-American? Yeah.
I think it does mostly Latin American and the Caribbean
Okay.
is where they invest. I also don't know where they get their money.
Well, they're claiming that the takeaway here is could liberate cash from the private sector for urgently needed climate finance.
Yeah,
could
and private
Yeah.
sector and 10-year timeline for like an ambitious. So first of all, the number is really 130 billion every year, right? Like because they're
so 1.3 trillion over 10 years.
1.3 trillion over 10. 130 billion is a lot of money, but nowhere near what needs to be spent. And I don't understand where that money's coming from. I know this.
Yeah.
When I analyzed banks,
Yeah.
every single year, one or more banks would make some announcement about how they are going to finance a bajillion dollars of climate, projects between now and 5 years from now, or 7 years from now, or 10 years
And I'm
from now.
guessing, do they usually occur at things like COP30 climate summits?
No, one of the
No.
biggest tricks that the banks did was
Yes.
they would do like there'd be a bond that a company wanted to write. It might be a green bond or a regular bond at a solar company or something. When you underwrite a bond, you can often do it with a syndicate. It's not like JP Morgan underwrites one bond for this company. It's JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Citi. They would all do it together.
Mm-hmm.
But the underwriters, they would each individually claim the total amount of the bond. So if JP Morgan, if it's a $1 billion bond and JP Morgan raised 200 million, JP Morgan would say, we helped finance a $1 billion bond. So
Right.
if they have like $1 billion target, they'd say, we hit our target. We helped finance $1 billion, even though they only raised 200 million.
Okay.
All of these banks do stuff like that in order to make really big numbers, like 1.3 trillion, for instance, actually attainable by just double counting and counting things you're not actually doing.
So this is a different form of greenwashing, maybe?
I mean,
it's a marketing ploy. What is this?
I will just say,
who are they appealing to with these
I'll say it this
headlines
way. I would be shocked
then?
if the Inter-American Development Bank took $1.3 trillion of actual money and put it into climate stuff.
Like new money, new cash.
New money.
Not double counting
You
money.
only really ever make these announcements when you've already allocated 1 trillion of the 1.3 trillion in the next 5 years, right? Like you only do it when you know. Like, one thing they could do is work with all of the banks in Latin America and say, hey, do you have any climate goals? Are you planning on financing any climate money? We will help you. Not by giving you extra money necessarily. Maybe we'll give you some, but then we'll count it towards this 1.3 trillion. I'm just a cynic with all this stuff. I'm going to give it a 5 as a result. And that is the correct answer.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer.
Hey, at least the Inter-American Development Bank could be happy that we spent so much time on their
Let's do the next one before we run out of it.
Amazon buys
show.
more. Amazon. You've heard of Amazon. Amazon buys more than 9 million liters of sustainable aviation fuel for cargo flights. Ooh. You
Is
see
that
these
a
type of
lot?
headlines all the time. This is from ESGtoday.com. But it's like, what's the context of this? Like, is this something? I don't know. I don't know how to swallow this one. Is that a lot? Is that good? I mean, if it's from ESGtoday.com, then it must be good.
So How Stuff Works says that a multi-story jumbo jet burns an average of 11,000 liters of fuel per hour.
Whoa.
So they said they bought 9 million.
Yeah, so 9 million divided by 11,000.
So that gets them 800-ish
818 hours? 800 hours of
800 hours of flying.
flying.
Don't they do that
pina colada mix.
tonight? Like I think they're going to do 800 hours of flying in the next 12 minutes.
Yeah, there are prime jets all over the place zipping around and
Once again, I feel like the 9 million
Levi
liters,
jeans.
9 million liters sounds like a lot because we're thinking of like Captain Morgan bottles, right? Like oh my God, that's so much Captain Morgan. But it's actually not that much. They burn a lot of fuel, like a lot. So I'm not sure that's a lot. I'm going to give it a 5 until a listener corrects me.
You know what's super stupid about Amazon.com also is that when you realize I just canceled my Amazon subscription, right? And I realized if you just leave your house, I know it's kind of like a shocking idea. If you just leave your house and then go to like a store near you, that thing you want to order has already been sent to your neighborhood.
No,
you don't need it to be resent on a plane like by Amazon.
No, that's nuts.
There's already been someone who's brought it. Like, it's here. It doesn't need to be here again. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't. Amazon, you're dumb. You're dumb.
The thing I actually realized when we canceled ours, we've had ours canceled for like a year.
Yeah, you're smarter than me.
My wife has a really hard time with it. Like she
I feel
wanted
so
to
free
cancel
without it. I feel so free without it. Yeah.
She wanted to cancel it, but she has a hard time because her instinct is like, oh my God, I need 300 packing peanuts. Where can I get them? I will order them on Amazon right now. Like that's the instinct. What it was actually really good at teaching us is we don't actually need any stuff.
Yeah.
Like most of the stuff, you're like, I need packing peanuts. It's like, do you?
Yeah.
We probably don't. We find a way not to.
What I learned too is that it just removed all the agony from shopping online, which is that when you shop online, there's this pressure to get the right thing every time, right? Or the cheapest or the best, and it's just it kind of drives you drives you a little crazy, especially if you're a little neurotic like me. And so I needed a shade. I needed 3 shades for my bedroom. Typically, I would spend hours online trying, like wrestling through this world of muck. But you know what I did, Matt? I just drove to a store. I talked to a nice woman, and she made 3 shades for me while I stood there and talked to her about the company, and it's family owned and family run. And then she handed them to me, and I just went home and I put them up on.
That's all confusing.
It was just kind of ridiculously easy.
Actually,
my brain didn't hurt.
My wife was pushing for me to order it from Stop and Shop online. I'm like, why not save yourself the trip? Just order online. And it took me like the exact amount of time that it took me to drive to the store, go to the aisle I know it's in, pick it up, check out, and get home, as it did for me to find it on the online things, the right one, make sure it's the right one, add it to my cart, like, log in, have to like forget my password, like do all the things. And then they wouldn't deliver it, so I had to go drive and pick it up anyway from the guy in the parking lot, right? Like it's the By the time I was done, I was like, why am I doing this? Just go in the store.
The guy in the parking lot who's making like $12 an hour, who's giving you underripe bananas just to screw you, even though there was nice yellow ones over to his right. Who's giving you non-reusable bags because because you can't bring your own reusable bags. All the fun stuff.
I like how old we sound right now.
Let's move on. What'd you give that one, by the way?
I gave that one a 5 until someone.
Let's stay with Amazon.com, and then we'll change categories. Venice. You heard of Venice? It's in Italy. Venice.
I've been there. Yeah, great.
Venice
great
locals protesting Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding. No space for Bezos.
Oh, I like that.
What do you think about that? Protesting CEOs. I know he's not a CEO anymore, but according to FreeFlowAnalytics.com, he still has the largest amount of influence on the board at Amazon.
Oh, by far. I don't care about this at all.
Go ahead then. Go quickly. All right, let's rate some new hires.
Oh, okay? I liked it. This is
I have 3
people. Yeah.
Rate the new woke DEI hire, because in 2025, if it's not a white man, a white heterosexual Christian, it's probably woke. It's probably DEI.
It's probably they were discriminated. The white
they probably don't deserve the job.
Was discriminated against.
Yeah, probably. Let's start with this one. There's a new CEO, a new chief, running MI6. Do you know what MI6 is?
Of course I do. Have you ever seen a Bond movie?
Yes, I have. So MI6, it's the British Foreign Intelligence Service. It's been around for 116 years. This is the first woman who's ever run it. Blaise Metrowelli. She was most recently the Director General of Technology Innovation. So in the Bond movies, she used to be Q.
Oh.
And now she's C. They call their CEO C, which I think maybe we should do. Maybe that would save us a lot of bandwidth in our database, and we could save some money. But anyway. What do you think about that one? Do you think is that a DEI hire? I mean, she was Q. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I don't.
Think about
really.
This.
I mean, look, the fact is,
I just like to celebrate the first women who run organizations after 116 years. That's
I like
fun
to
for
flip
me.
it and say, how in 116 years did we not find another woman at any point in 100 years?
So you're more mad about the past than you are celebrating the future.
I'm more like this is a story. It's 2025.
Yeah,
Why is this a story?
That's true. I mean, I guess MI6. Do we get stories for MI6 leaders? I don't even know.
No, we wouldn't if they didn't hire the first woman in 116 years.
Yeah, and aren't they supposed to be spies? Aren't we supposed to not know who they are?
Supposed to not know who. I think if she's getting hired for the job, she is, in all likelihood, eminently qualified, overqualified in all likelihood.
She was Q after all.
She knows exactly what she's doing. She's probably listening to this conversation because she is a spy.
Loving it.
I don't know. I wanna feel like we shouldn't be celebrating this. I'm celebrating it because it happened, but I also don't want to celebrate it because this shouldn't be weird, right? Like it shouldn't be a story.
It's still weird. 2025. Yeah. What do you?
I'm gonna give it a 7 as a result. It's like a muted celebration. Like we finally did it. Like
All right.
we should have done it a million times by now.
How about this headline? Whirlpool Corporation welcomes Judith Buckner to the board of directors.
What?
Do you want any more information here?
10.
Let me give you some information based on FreeFlow Analytics data. She's only the fourth woman on a 13-member board with a minus 12% gender influence gap. She's the president of Reynolds Cooking and Baking. Other leadership
Reynolds
roles
Wrap.
include she was the director of manufacturing. She was a plant manager, director of engineering and new product development, vice president of operations engineering. She has a degree in chemical engineering, and this is a board, Matt, a Whirlpool board, who the knowledge of the non-executive directors is dominated by economics and accounting. 27% of the influence represented kind of stupidly by economics and accounting. So what do you think about this? Has Whirlpool found a gem, or is this just another DEI woke hire in the corporate world?
So first of all, this is perfect because it points out that all of the myths about DEI hires are woke hires. She's a chemical fucking engineer.
Right, because if you've risen to this level anyway, your background is probably incredible. I mean, that you're even considered for this job.
I mean, you're like the other people on this board are retailers, and they are econ finance bros.
One of them was the CEO of Taco Bell of all places.
Come on. What do we do? This was a woman who was like running plants. She knows like chemical engineering. Like she's going to walk onto this board and she's going to be like, thank you all for bringing me here. And she's going to be at the first meeting and they're going to be talking about dopey nonsense and telling her to shut her mouth.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is what we see. This is actually a brilliant case study of why we built, or FreeFlow Analytics, I should say, built a knowledge database of directors.
I love it. Other than the fact that it's a huge data set and it always crashes whatever spreadsheet program I'm using, I love it. I love playing around in there. I love having an excuse to play around.
It's so ridiculous when you see like where these people come from, what their backgrounds are. Like just because you were the chief marketing officer at like a chemical company does not mean you know chemicals. You know marketing, and FreeFlow Analytics data basically distinguishes that. So that you can look at the Whirlpool board and be like, how were there no other engineer types here before? Like, where are they all? Like, why are they all finance people on a board that makes fucking dishwashers, right? Like, isn't that just engineering? That's all you do? I think this is fabulous. I'm going to stick with my 10.
Okay, how about this next one? This is like a meta headline. This is like a headline within a headline, because this is the good game for June 17th, 2025, and we're rating new woke DEI hires. Lynn Good elected to Morgan Stanley board of directors. See what I did there? Lynn Good.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you one factoid about Lynn Good. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't.
I know exactly who Lynn Good
former
is.
CEO of Duke Energy and the longest tenured director of all places on the Boeing board. Lynn Good, carrying her impressive resume over to Morgan Stanley. What do you think about this hire?
Okay, so I because I did not. We don't do prep for me for this show. Like I just show up. And I'm supposed to rate the headlines.
Yeah.
I can tell you instantaneously, just by knowing who Lynn Good is, that there's a 99.9% chance that she's connected to the other Morgan Stanley board members. I don't know.
I mean, without a doubt.
Through which board yet. Oh, I do know. Through Duke Energy. I pulled it up while we were sitting here.
Right.
There are multiple directors who overlap with people who have been on the Duke Energy board while she was the CEO of the Duke Energy board. That's just Duke Energy. In fact, the database has 208 connections between Morgan Stanley board members, many of which run through the Partnership for New York City. They run through other nonprofits, the Peter G. Peterson Institute for International Economics. It includes Microsoft, Merck, IBM, HP, Howmet Aerospace, GE, Ford, the Council on Foreign Relations, Caterpillar. Caterpillar, we know, had deep links to the Boeing board for a long time. They were the Caterpillar 3 when Lynn Good was on the Boeing board. Three of the members of the Boeing board sat together also on the Caterpillar board. this is not a hire of like someone just on the merits necessarily. This is a fist bump. We know this is a known entity. Welcome to the board. Welcome to, permanent money in retirement for showing up 12 times a year kind of position. My instinct is this is a zero. These are the exact board positions.
But Lynn, good.
No, you're not fooling me with her name.
It.
You can't fool me with her name.
You see all the things you can do with our fun database here?
Yeah, this is deep fun. All right, let's do a speed round.
Speed round, get the hell out of here. Rate how good the headline is, speed round. So I just, these are just headlines that tickled me for a variety of reasons. How about
let's
this
do it
one?
in 1 minute. Let's rip through it.
Trump's $499 smartphone will likely be made in China.
10, 100. That's amazing.
What I like about this, I'll go quickly after this. What I like about this is this one line in the CNBC article. It says, the Trump organization's newly announced smartphone will likely be made in China, experts say, despite claims that the device will be manufactured in the U.S.
I wonder if it'll void tariffs.
So they're already pretending it's going to be made in the U.S. It's like this is like the Texas thing all over again. All right.
I love this.
Let's go quickly. Next headline. This is a weird one. Her boss has been spelling the company name wrong for over a year, so she anonymously reports him to the board of directors.
I mean, this is the greatest headline ever.
What the hell is that?
How do you not know the name of the company you work for?
I don't know what's going on with that headline.
I don't know either, but I love it. It's a 10.
Okay, next headline. General Mills CEO, his name is Harmoning. Here's the quote. We don't sell Cheerios in the morning and then think about sustainability in the afternoon. I thought that was clever. I like that.
Does that mean he thinks about it when?
I think what he's saying
is that reverse.
Is that, I guess in a very greenwashy way, he's saying they think about sustainability all the time, Matt, not just in the afternoon.
They also sell Cheerios all the time.
I just like this.
Just sell that.
I like that the General Mills CEO is admitting that the whole company is basically selling Cheerios. I just like that.
I'm going to give this a 5.
I mean, imagine it's like devaluing your life when you're like, what do you do? Like, I sell Cheerios. It's like, that's boring.
When you think about what most people do, that's what most people's lives are. That's why we're all miserable.
Selling Cheerios.
You don't get to like wake up and build something you see anymore. You get to wake up and sell Cheerios.
How about this headline? Companies bragging about their AI, furious as job applicants use AI during interviews.
How do you use it during an interview?
Specifically, I guess Goldman Sachs was complaining because they're like warning people, do not use AI during their interviews, even though they're loving their AI. They're firing people because they're AI. They love AI. I don't know, because I guess you can. Who cares? Shouldn't you be able to use AI all the time if AI is so brilliant? I mean, why are you telling your applicant, let your applicants do whatever the hell they want? I don't know. I just like the headline. I like the headline.
I think the whole AI thing is just dumb and confusing.
Give me a number.
I don't know. I'm giving it a 0. I don't like it.
How about this one? One more in the speed round, and then we'll wrap up with a headline about our business. FuYu. That's the name of the company. FuYu. FuYu's independent directors resign, leaving CEO as only one on the board. I love when that happens.
I love a good. I love when that happens.
That's what should be happening at Tesla.
That's what happened at 23andMe.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about why FuYu's independent. Oh look! The audience is so into this.
They love that FuYu. A little bit of a FuYu to the CEO. What's the score in that one?
I love it. 10. It's like,
okay.
I think all directors should resign.
Finally, let's wrap up the show with this headline. This reminds me of the another headline that we're covering extensively the last few weeks, where it was like 90% of executives want like at least one director fired.
Yeah. 70% want 2 or more.
So look at this new. This is coming from Board Intelligence, I guess. The headline is half of company directors think their board is of no value to the business.
So that's real bad for us.
Now, why is this bad? I thought this would maybe be good, meaning like is now not the time to reconstruct your board, because if your board is full of networked cronies and there's overlapping skills, maybe they just don't represent the right level of oversight. Maybe it's time to reconstruct your boards and have them actually create value. And also, Matt, it suggests that there is a way of measuring performance on the board, right? So it's measuring the voice of the board, and I don't know. I'm trying to spin this.
That is true because
trying to spin this in a positive way.
Freeflow Analytics did it. It's free. It's already out there. But the way I read that headline, is half of company directors actually don't think the board has any value. Not that it should, but that it doesn't have any value.
That's because if investors are asleep at the wheel and they rubber stamp every director nominated by the nomination committee, then maybe they're not realizing that the board is there just to help management. But there's another reason why the board could be there.
You think investors should
care,
you're
attention.
Assuming that they want the board to add some value.
Attention. Yeah.
What they actually they literally, it's like the board members are complaining that the investors don't take their own job seriously. Meanwhile, you're making like $250,000 a year. I wouldn't complain that loudly, but like the investors aren't taking your job seriously. That's really what that headline should say. Not half of company directors think the board has no value. It should say the investors do not take boards seriously, despite the fact that it's their fiduciary duty to do it, and they should be looking to add value in every possible way that they can. That's your job as an investor. But the investors don't take the board seriously. They don't care about your jobs.
We can help you do that. We can help. Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 5 just because you read it one way and I read it a different way,
right.
And it's confusing.
Once again, like every week, Matt, your final score for the good game, this is June 17th, 2025, is a 6. 6. You're always at a 6.
Yeah,
what does that mean? What does that mean about your view of the world? I don't even know.
That means
6?
I am
5 is indifference.
Consistently snarky and indifferent to everything that you read.
But with a little bit of hope for humanity, a little bit?
I continue to perpetually wait for someone to do something good. Yeah,
all right, there you go.
Waiting. That's it. That's Hazelnut Rawless. I'm your analyst, Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. We'll be back on Thursday with the Proxy Countdown. We'll be back on Friday with the wrap of the week. We've got a shareholder privacy show where actually we're interviewing dueling academics who are coming at a securities law issue from opposite sides. We're gonna that's coming up. Next week we're off. No business pants, no Proxy Countdown, no nothing. Just we're gonna sleep in every single day and hopefully the world doesn't explode. But until then,